in a lot of different industries, we sell on features and benefits. We want people to know who's actually making their putters, and it's the two guys in that photo. And we're really proud to be making our stuff in America and in Iowa. As far as we know, there's no one else milling putters in Iowa. You know, this day and age, it's pretty straightforward and simple to get a business started up with a website and, you know, have somebody else make it for you. You know, to I guess sustain that success going forward is a different story, but you know, you can hop online and find a manufacturer overseas and that makes putter heads. But I like more of a challenge and learning everything and having that relationship with the customer. And we're just really thrilled that we're making stuff in Iowa. I mean, that's really important to us.
Welcome to Making Sparks, the podcast where we ignite your passion for metal fabrication and fuel your business success. Join industry leaders and dive deep into the world of metalworking. From business insights to tips of the trade, Making Sparks is your forge of knowledge. During each episode, discover success stories, innovative solutions, and expert interviews that light the path to business growth. Subscribe today and grow and improve your company, and let's make sparks fly together.
With this cool Hana Golf hat.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, we got at least one golfer on the call here. Casey's half-assed golfer.
Occasionally.
I'm terrible.
All right. All that matters is to get out and play.
So do you golf, Jared, then?
Yeah, not as much as I'd like, but yeah.
When you start working in the industry, you won't do it. I worked at a local golf store in college, and the owner was a pretty talented golfer, but he said he golfed once a year because he said he sold golf products. So it was like,
they all say that. They're all lying though.
That's true. Yeah, let's go with that.
Something, I think in your email address something golf. I'm like, why the hell are we having a golf guy on our fabrication podcast? And it didn't take me long to figure it out. I looked on your website, and you've got a milling machine right there front and center. Casey actually commented on that. He was like, that's really cool how he's making that more front and center on the marketing. I said, yeah, I feel like you're leaning into the aspect of your brand of having a custom made putter.
I mean, this day and age, it's so easy to start a business, to start one. I mean, to run one's a different story. I mean, you can go on Alibaba and you can find a bunch of putter makers in China and say, I want this design, I'm going to put up a website and you're good to go. And what's the fun in that, and what's the challenge in that, what's the story behind that? And so our story is that we're making our stuff, and we're proud of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that's a good intro right there.
I know. I should probably officially start the podcast. Welcome back to Making Sparks. I'm your host, Casey Velker, sitting virtually with my co-host, Matthew Nix, and with a really cool guest because I like golf. He's manufacturing custom golf putters. It's Jared Dorfler. I'm going to met Dorfler with Hana Golf. I was going to say Hana Golf, but it's Hana Golf. I'll let Matthew ask whatever the first question is because I think I got the intro right.
Nailed it, Casey. Nailed it. All right. So my first question is, there's a lot of, it feels like there's a lot of these boutique putter guys out there. I mean, everybody's got a milling machine and everybody thinks it'd be cool to make putters. So how do you stand out in that kind of environment? Where everybody thinks they can have their own putter line. And is it that you're just further out front and have enough momentum, or is it that you're really making a concerted effort and it's a full-time business for you as opposed to a hobby, or is it some combination of that? But just I'd love to hear a little bit about that. And I guess maybe before we jump into that, just tell the audience a little bit about Hana Golf, what it is, how it came to be, and maybe your background.
That second question is a long answer, Matthew, that we don't have a whole lot of time to get after it, because I'm a talker. It'll take a long time to go after that story. I'll answer the first one because I think it's a really good question about boutique putter makers. There's a lot of boutique putter makers out there, and it's kind of a subculture in golf. It's really cool, actually. A lot of guys do have a mill in their garage. They most likely have a machining background. Some of them taught themselves as well. I think from our standpoint, what we're really trying to do versus maybe because we do consider ourselves a boutique putter maker, but we're trying to, I think, be a little bit more mainstream, and we're not focusing so much on the custom, if you will. So boutique putter maker is going to do, a couple putters a week, and they're going to be completely custom, and they're going to be really expensive, anywhere from $800 to $2,000, $2,500, and golf's added quite a few new golfers since 2020, and there's an opportunity in the market for that 300 price point to 400 with some customization to be boutique, be in that world, make a high quality product, make it in America. And so that's kind of really what we're trying to nail. How I got started in this thing, I've been playing golf forever. Not very good, but been playing forever. I played at a small Division I school where I walked on and had a great time there and really changed my life. And in college, when I got there, our coaching staff we had a putter software, if you will, and you put yourself on that software and it tells you, the ins and the outs of your putting strokes. A lot different today than it was back then, but it was pretty good technology. And at about 2 strokes in, and my coach went and grabbed a different putter for me, and it was this old prototype putter off a tour truck, and it didn't sound great, didn't feel great, but I made a lot of putts with that thing in college. And when I left college, I gave it back to him, and so I've been kind of searching for that putter, like on eBay and Facebook for forever, and never really found it. And so one cold night in Iowa in the winter, I just decided to sketch it up and had my brother-in-law make it in CAD, and had a buddy in Texas machine it for me, and putter turned out terrible. It was, you'd have to pay somebody a lot of money to play it, but I really enjoyed that process. And as to why I really started the company is kind of a different story. Maybe we can touch on later.
Awesome.
That's awesome. So the putter sucked. The first putter sucked.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I didn't know what I was doing from a design standpoint, and when you're designing at first, you design for design. You don't design to manufacture or mill. And so I learned that about 3 months after I quit my job and started teaching myself stuff that when I'm designing, I have to design to mill, not design just for fun. And so the putter was designed pretty terribly.
So did you have a machining background or anything?
No, I'm like the worst person to get into machining. I'm a sales guy by trade, and if you know anything about sales guys, we think we know a lot and we think we're technical, but a lot of us can't even screw a light bulb in. So I fall into that camp. I really can't. I'm not super technical. I've never been a DIYer or anything like that, but I've always been up for a challenge. Kind of my whole life I've been, like I said earlier, I had to walk on in college, and I've been kind of an underdog, and I'm not afraid to work, not afraid to learn. And so, yeah, that's how we got into it.
I think you just answered my question about, all the boutique putters and putter manufacturers, how you stand out, because I'm going to overgeneralize and oversimplify here. But my perception is there's a lot of machinists that want to be putter sales guys, and you're a sales guy that just can have somebody machine them. So it's probably a better combination.
Yeah, it took me a while the great thing about machining, I'm still learning every day, and still have a lot to learn, but really happy with where we're at. But it took me a while to learn how to machine, that's for certain.
Hey guys, it's Nick from Making Chips, and I gotta tell you about our new show, Lights Out. When someone talks about being lights out, what comes to mind? For me, it's Michael Jordan, he's got the ball, the game's on the line, or it's Leo Messi taking that ball up to take a penalty in a penalty shootout. These guys are elite, and they're unstoppable, and you just know they're not gonna miss. But I also think about the technology, automation, process, and most importantly, the mindset of the manufacturing leaders with the best shops in the world. Every episode will equip and inspire you to run lights out so you can sleep soundly while your shop never stops. Because we all know, if you're not making chips, you're not making money. So check out the new Lights Out podcast by Making Chips. I will see you there.
That's awesome. Well, one of the things we were talking about before we really like kicked off the podcast was, we went to your website and I was telling Matthew, like, one of the coolest things to me is seeing your machines in the background on like front and center of your website. And I'm a golfer. I worked in doing marketing for golf, and most like the big manufacturers is they either want it to look very scientific, and so everything that's on their website's like a lab, or it's just really clean on a golf course. And I the realistic look that you have on your 3 hero images, and I know like the first one is actually your putter heads on the machine, like that nice close shot that like is probably a little bit more stylized, but I love like just the next 2 shots, the one where it's showing your mills in the background and you stand in front and stuff, like the machines and stuff. Why did you choose those 3 images, and what makes that, like, I guess my point is, like, I think it looks like you guys are taking a lot of pride that you guys are getting into machining and things like that.
Yeah, I think today in a lot of different industries, we sell on features and benefits, and we want people to know who's actually making their putters, and it's the 2 guys in that photo. And we're really proud to be making our stuff in America and in Iowa. As far as we know, there's no one else milling putters in Iowa. Probably a good reason for that, and it's probably not positive reasons. This day and age, I mean, you can really, it's pretty straightforward and simple to get a business started up with a website and, have somebody else make it for you. To, I guess, sustain that success going forward is a different story, but, you can hop online and find a manufacturer overseas and that makes putter heads, but that's really not, that's not really what I'm into. I think I like more of a challenge and learning everything and having that relationship with the customer. And we're just really thrilled that we're making stuff in Iowa. I mean, that's really important to us.
Looks like you've built a nice brand just around, just the not just the product, but, just a brand presence. And you sell golf gloves and towels and hats and so forth to go along with it. That's really cool. So how have you gone about building that brand, and what's your channel to the market? I mean, are you only selling through your website? Do you have distributors? And in either case, how are you developing the customer base?
We're primarily selling through the website. And the reason why is it's really difficult to get people on board with a new company, and rightfully so. And so we've got about 6 or 7 golf courses around the country that carry our stuff. And that's where we want to be in the future, is really partnering with those golf courses to add value to their shops. But right now we're really selling online, and that's our main channel.
So how do you build your customer base for online? I mean, what are you doing from a marketing standpoint to drive people to your website?
So we haven't spent any money on marketing, basically out of necessity. I can't afford it, and so. Everything comes from social traffic. And so, just telling our story online and it really is a primary driver for us to build our email list and then build traffic to the website.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
when I went on your guys' LinkedIn, like your Hana Golf LinkedIn, you specifically said a boutique putter maker, CNC milling, one-piece putters. You didn't have to put in the CNC milling, and it's because our audience is fabricators, machinists, things like that. I would love to know why'd you put that in there? Why is that a description? Why is that so important to you to let people know that you guys are milling them yourselves, and why is that?
A precision milled putter is going to be, it's so accurate from a dimension standpoint. I mean, we're talking when we're getting down to it, half a thou. And we could probably tighten those tolerances up a little bit. But when you're working with something else, it might be a little bit different, like a cast putter, or something that's forged, in a cast. Pouring that mold in there, the material in the mold, you're gonna have it's more likely that you're gonna have some higher tolerance issues than what we deal with in precision milled CNC mills. And so That's really important. Also, there's nothing like the feel of a CNC milled putter, in my opinion. I think a lot of people will share that. Some people will probably disagree, but there's nothing like the feel of a 303 stainless steel milled face putter.
When you say the feel, I mean, is that the? Forgive me. I mean, I play a little bit of golf, but not enough to know. Like, are you talking about the impact on the? Like when you say feel, is it the impact, or does it feel different when you're the stroke, or both? Or?
Well, I think really you're going to talk about feel and sound. And so sound's really important in putting, whether we believe it or not. And if you're a right-handed putter, you're going to hear that sound in your left ear first. And so that sound has to click, and it has to be a solid feel. It can't be this high-pitched ping. It can't be, like a dead sound. You got to have a good sound. And then feel, with that mill pattern that we have in our faces, it's a little bit deeper than what traditional companies do. We're about 5 thousandths deep on that mill pattern. I'm not going to tell you what tool we're using, but because that'll kind of give away some of the depth, or the width of it. But we're using a ball end mill on that, and so that's adding to the softness. The deeper your mill pattern in the face, the softer it's going to be. The beauty about a CNC milled putter out of 303 stainless is that it's going to feel soft, almost like an insert putter, but it's going to give you the same consistent feel essentially every stroke. And it's going to give you the same feel from a 5-footer to a 30-footer. And that's really important to have that consistency for golfers when they're out in the golf course.
What about I was just going to say, what about the toe and the heel? Does that matter? Will the feel because on some putters, especially soft insert, if you accidentally, it shouldn't be, but if you accidentally hit it on the toe or the heel, it's going to feel a lot different. With a milled putter, is it going to feel pretty consistent?
Well, it's going to feel, it's more forgiving, if you will. However, on misshits, but it's still gonna, if you're gonna hit something way off the toe or the heel, that sweet spot on a milled putter is, your center of gravity is still going to be about, it's a similar theory in a different putter. So you're still going to feel a difference if you hit it way off the toe or the heel.
Well, sometimes feedback is good too. Yeah.
So I was going to ask about, you were talking about the sound. I never thought about that, the sound and the feel. And I can totally see where that matters, because when you're welding out in the field, I've noticed in the past, if you were ever welding in a really loud environment where you could not hear the welder, you realize how much your hearing and your sight and the feel of your hands are all interconnected, and helps you make a beautiful weld. And when you take that one sense out of the equation, it really impacts your ability to weld as consistent as you once could. So I totally relate to that. Wouldn't have thought about it with golf, but it makes sense. I guess my question is that the need for that is more about building the repetition and muscle memory, right? Knowing that your brain knows that sounded right, so I made the right level of impact, right? That's the point, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you want a high quality sound. It's going to make you more confident over your putts. It's almost as simple as that.
Yeah, so cool.
So I'm gonna gear this a little bit towards our audience, but like Matthew said, the difference between you and probably some of these other custom milled putters is that they may be a machinist trying to, that is our audience, right? A machinist or someone that in manufacturing trying to manufacture something. What would you give tip wise, not to someone trying to manufacture a putter, but if they're trying to manufacture a consumer based product? Like you are, and sell it online, what do you think? They have the background in machining. What would you say to them to get them thinking about turning it into a business? What would be your tips to them? Or a welder, whoever it is, because when I think of fabricating, I know at one time, Nick's did I don't know if you guys still do it, but the fire pits and stuff that was more consumer based product, and I'm in my mind, I know from the businesses I've interacted with on the fabrication and machining side, they're all B2B. Almost all of them are B2B. But if there's got to be, in our audience, there's a lot of people that are like, no, I want to sell to a customer. I want to sell at scale to a customer. I want to sell to the masses or whatever. And I want to sell online. I want to get into e-commerce. I know that's a lot to ask, but like, what is one thing that you're like, oh, you're a machinist, you're a blue collar guy, you should think this way? Like,
I got a couple of things on this. First, I think this needs to be out there, is that it's really hard to manufacture and sell online. Like, that's end to end, and it's very challenging to do. Not a lot of companies do it. Either you're going to sell online and somebody else is going to manufacture it, or you're going to manufacture and sell, like you said earlier, like a B2B company, and they're going to sell it essentially through their channels. It looks a lot easier than it is, I'll say that. But if you get it nailed down, I think that there's a lot of success, a lot of areas for opportunity. In the milling world, there's a lot of guys that sell knives, like, and they'll sell them, direct to consumer. And I think whatever your market that you want to go for is, you really need to try to build an audience online. And a lot of people are, skeptical of doing that for a lot of different reasons, and I get it. But building an audience online is, it's free marketing, if you will, minus your time to create content. But, Instagram's a great place. There's a lot of machining on Instagram. It's a lot of fun to watch guys make stuff. And I think you really need to build online and kind of live in that community that you're trying to serve.
Hey guys, it's Nick from Making Chips. I want to give you 3 quick reasons why you should check out Mike Payne's podcast, By the Numbers. Mike, my good buddy, my partner on Making Chips, is full of wisdom. He's full of experience. He's full of what it takes to buy, sell, and lead a business, specifically a manufacturing business. So all the numbers that you should be focused on to improve your performance, that's what he's the master at. The second reason, Mike's the first person I call. If I'm looking at a new idea, a new partnership opportunity, a new acquisition, any new initiative where I need to dive into the numbers and figure out how to approach it, Mike is who I go to. And third, you got to love that buttery Tulsa King voice that Mike rocks. It just soothes your soul. It gives you the confidence to elevate your leadership. Jokes aside, if you love making chips, or if you're just passionate about improving your business performance and the financial performance of your company, check out By the Numbers by Making Chips, hosted by my good buddy, Mike Payne.
Looking at your Instagram.
Not very good. Our Instagram, our Twitter, and our LinkedIn are, I don't post a whole lot there. I don't have time. It's not great. We have a huge opportunity, I think, on social to get better. A lot of our stuff comes from really my personal Twitter and my personal LinkedIn.
Do you think that you guys have an opportunity to lean into the blue collar brand that I see on your website already, that you guys are already kind of showing your CNC machines and things like that? So like, to me, it's like, anytime I think of any custom golf thing, it's all, like I said, the science, it's all this, but not like that, the lack of a better word, down and dirty. Cause like, that's really, there's a lot of golfers that would associate with that, I know Matthew's a big brand, big on brunt and workwear and stuff like that. And that's what I was thinking, like, can you lean into that brand?
Yeah. I would say like the brunt workwear guys
that's exactly,
that kind of look. And I think you mentioned something important there, Casey. I think there's been a shift in the demographic of golf, or at least my perception is, like, it always had this like real polished business white collar feel to it. And I've been really surprised with the amount of blue collar folks in our company that have started golfing recently. I don't know what's driving that, or maybe that's just a micro perception that I have. I don't know, Jared, if you
definitely in our area, it has in our area, it's like the local plastic companies, they have their own leagues. Like the guys that are on the plastic lines, they're going out on a Thursday and they're playing a golf league together. I know even at Nick's, I've talked to some of the field coatings guys. They go regularly and golf together. And I think there is a little bit of a shift. I think it's that 2020 growth too, right? I think people wanted to get out and figure out something to do. What do you think, Jared?
Golf's added a few million net new golfers since 2020. The 2 largest demos have been females and juniors. And so it's really hard to look at a demo of a blue collar guy, joining a golf course or joining a men's league, whatever it might be. But I think you get the perception that that's likely the case right now. Now, for me, I don't think we're leaning into that per se, but we're more, I would say, embracing it because, quite frankly, it's what we are. I mean, we're in a blue-collar town that was built on 2 cement plants and a door factory. I mean, my father-in-law worked at a door factory for 39 years, and he's played golf since he was 25. And so for me growing up, you know, it's seeing those guys after their shift at the cement factory or the door factory every day out there, you know, I thought that was the norm. And so that's what I'll say. And quite frankly, you know, we're embracing that because we're not trying to hide what we are. We're in the machine shop every day. We're milling putters every day. And we're doing all the other items that need to be done to make a putter. And so that's blue collar work, you know, and we're embracing that. We a lot of our customers though aren't necessarily blue collar. And so I don't think that we want to necessarily live in one area, but we want to embrace, I think, both areas. And I think there's a world where we can do that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yep. I mean, yeah, I think just to piggyback off that a little bit, Jared, I think, you know, my background is doing a lot of, we call it culture-based video marketing. And we work a lot with industrial manufacturing. We also work with like schools and things like that. And I tell people like, one of the best ways to build your brand is just to let your people shine through, you know, the people that are passionate about it. And so like in your case, it's you. And I don't know, did we talk about who your business partner is? Is that who's working with you?
So, you know, I quit my job in July of 2023, put a CNC mill at home in my garage, and that's where I taught myself everything. I was there for about 6 months, and then I bought the first one I got was a Tormach mill, and then I bought a Haas mill in March. And so I was running 2 mills by myself and trying to figure this all out until we officially launched the company in July of 2024. And then in August, hired an intern from a local tool and die program at a local community college. And he graduated in May, and so he joined us full-time in May. For lack of a better term, he's really been here since day one. And he is an absolute unicorn. And I talk about it a lot on social, how lucky I am to have him. I almost hesitate to do it. I don't want somebody to come in and steal him. And quite frankly, I mean, you know, he's underpaid. It's just the reality of kind of where I'm at. You know, we have John Deere's right down the road, and you can make a lot more money at John Deere pushing the green button. But he wants to be a part of, you know, something new and something that, you know, is not necessarily corporate. And he's awesome. He's been a huge help for us. And so, yeah, Tyler's his name, and he's an absolute stud.
Yeah, that's all. I will say, I know Matthew has had success. I have had success. My first full-time employee he interned with me for 6 months, and then I hired him full-time, and he's been with us for now 3 years. He's the one who edit this podcast. Shout out to Mason. He's awesome. And I do think and I think a cool synergy here is that you mentioned that you got him from the local tool and die school, or like he was in like a co-op type class. And Nick's, they partner a lot with our local trade school to get high schoolers as interns and then hire them full time. And I think that reiterates some of our past episodes where we talk about like from a manufacturer, make sure you're involved with those schools because you're going to get some talent from there and stuff like that.
That's really cool that he could go down the road to John Deere, like you said, and push a green button. But yeah, he's choosing to be with you because it's exciting, and I'm sure he's getting to learn a lot of different aspects of being in business. And I venture to believe that's going to be a great choice for him. He can always go to John Deere and push a green button. Very cool.
He's wise beyond his years. His granddad was a machinist, and he was employed number one at a machine shop, you know, decades ago, and he worked there for 40 years. And Tyler's embracing that same thing, and you know, he really looked up to his grandfather quite a bit from that standpoint. So I think he kind of likes that.
That's awesome. Well, Jared, how can people follow along with you? I know you said on your Twitter I'm assuming on LinkedIn. What other ways can people connect with you if they want to connect with you?
Yeah, so website's hanagolf.com. It's HANNA golf.com. And then social handles are Hana Golf Co. On Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So That's how they can find us and follow along on the journey and the ups and the downs of trying to figure out how to make putters in an established industry.
Yeah, super cool, man. I'm going to be sharing this with a few people I know that love to golf and that might spend $400 on a putter. So,
before we completely hop off here, after we sign off, I'm going to talk to you about my twin brother, who is big in golf, but he's also big in e-commerce. And I think you should probably connect with him. He loves to give advice out. And I just think,
you guys
definitely need to connect. I'm going to be filming with him here in a second for his e-commerce brand that he's the CEO, or not CEO, president of. And so it'll be, I think you'd probably get a kick. He also golfs every single day because he lives on a golf course. So, and we're big fans of like what Tacoma Golf is doing, especially with the YouTube golf world and things like that. And so, you probably have a kick getting to meet him. So, how do we sign off, Matthew? I always forget.
Well, we normally say if you're not making sparks,
you're not making money, but we don't want to make sparks in our shop, so we'll make chips.
Yeah, there you go. Probably should have had you on the Making Chips podcast. They're probably better hosts too, but
that's
I don't
okay.
know about that.
We made the best of it. No, it was great having you on, Jared. Awesome product, man. Best of luck to you. I'll definitely be following you on socials and cheering you along and sending anybody I know your way. So
I need an excuse to go to Iowa and play golf, Jared. Just saying.
Yeah, hey, come out. We love when visitors come by the shop. We embrace it. It's 1,200 square feet of complete chaos. It's not as organized as I like, but people are fascinated how these things are made. And, I had quite a few questions yesterday on a social media post, and people are like, are you just buying the head milled and you're just base milling it? And I've never had that question before, and it was a good one. And no, we're buying our stock in 72-inch blocks, and then we're putting in a bandsaw to 4-inch blocks, cut it down, and we're throwing those parts in the middle and making a putter out of a block of stainless steel. So it's a lot of fun to see the process, take shape. And, Tyler and I are, it's really cool to see like a nice putter go out the door that had some custom features to it that we made that. Like there's some pride behind our work, and it's just a ton of fun. We have visitors. So Casey, if you're ever in the area, you let me know. But Casey, Matthew, I really appreciate having me on. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Take care, buddy.